हर वक्त मेरे साथ हो विश्वास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। हर वक्त मेरे साथ हो विश्वास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। जब भी निकलता घर से तुम साथ चलते हो। धूप भरी राहों में बादल से ढलते हो। जब भी निकलता घर से तुम साथ चलते हो। धूप भरी राहों में बादल से ढलते हो। यात्रा सुखद ही होगी, यात्रा सुखद ही होगी, विश्वास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। खुशियाँ लुटाता हूँ, तेरा नाम रूप गुण में सबको बताता हूँ। तुमने मुझे जो दी वो खुशियाँ लुटाता हूँ, तेरा नाम रूप गुण में सबको बताता हूँ। रोशन हो सबके दिल ये, रोशन हो सबके दिल ये आभास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। हर एक मेरे है ये दिल गीत गाता है। सब प्रेम से रहे ये सरगम सुनाता है। हर एक मेरे है ये दिल गीत गाता है। सब प्रेम से रहे ये सरगम सुनाता है। जन्नत बने जहाँ ये, जन्नत बने जहाँ ये शुभ भाव रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। हर वक्त मेरे साथ हो विश्वास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है। भगवन तुम्हारे प्यार का एहसास रहता है।
Hello, Om Shanti. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be. It's good to have everyone on there. My name is Peter. I guess many would know me, many probably won't. I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. And I have with me our dear brother Ganesh from Sri Lanka, who will be joining me in a short while. So we're on this wonderful program about deleting or alleviating ourselves from all of our wasteful thinking habits. And Pass with Honour, what a great title. Those 3 definitions of the word pass, and all very appropriate. And I guess probably a large amount of you have been following the program through from its beginning. So we're halfway through our 3rd week now So it will be this third week that I'm mainly focusing on tonight. But boy, it'd be nice to sort of just go over a couple of things, wouldn't it? From, where have we been so far? So quite an enjoyable program, a lot there to think about. Week one, looking at the the idea of um, rerunning conversations on day one and replaying what happened, the pull towards distractions, rushing, impatience. What will happen? How will it happen? Jumping into jumping to worst case conclusions. Oh, that's a beauty. And rehearsing mistakes. Rehearsing mistakes. It sounds very unhealthy, but of course, we find reasons, I think, to do all of these things, and we're getting some lovely material come through. You know, what to do in all of these cases. Merge into stillness, and we tell ourselves that, and we have to follow that direction because ultimately, where did the direction come from? Of course, it's come from Baba. So we're here to follow those directions, and that's something that we need to. It's not just something that we're practicing out there in some sort of routine type of fashion, but we actually put our mind to work and just focus on that idea of stillness. So applying a full stop, being able to just put the brake, that comes up again this week. Um, Withdraw, turn inwards. We can see a theme happening there. This is all in week one. So, applied coolness. What a lovely concept. What a lovely concept. If you just work with those simple words and allow the words to basically just merge out and become the actual experience. Words are great. We have to have them. And of course, that's what our Murlis are about. We get spoken to in a code called Malay or English or Hindi or something. And, we decipher what that means. And sometimes Baba's speaking very factually. Sometimes he's speaking very figuratively. And it's just lovely to see what Baba can tell us and how we can put all of that into practice. So, okay, I might just move on to week two. So the idea of I should have been better. I should be better. Yeah, okay. We should be better in order to reach the goal. But it's a different thing to come down on ourselves and, in a sense, have that big stick and threatening ourselves in a sort of a fashion. No, we don't need to do that. Uh, Remember the original form instead, is the advice given there. So basically, it's looking at replacing something with something else, replacing an old bad habit of our thinking, and putting something else there in its place. So remember the original form. Yeah. So the idea of attraction, notice the pull of attraction, just pull away from that, become silent, and be free. That's the simple advice there. And ultimately, that's a nice one because Baba tells us that, the idea of attraction, it's there from the beginnings of our body conscious experience in the world. And in a way, that's what gets us into all sorts of mess along the way. By the way, I hope I'm not speaking too fast for the translators, but if I am, maybe just let me know. We'll see how we go. Okay. So yeah, replacing a bad notion with a good notion. It comes up a lot. Um, let's see. Let me just find another one. Oh, mental agitation disguised as insight. So it's like we're fooling ourselves. We're feeling agitated inside over something, and we don't even properly recognize why we're in that state of mind. But we try to tell ourselves perhaps that it's a sort of an insight. Um, and don't just accept something like that on face value. So check and recognize the upheaval and move on. So, um, okay, a few more nice ones there, but I'm going to move into this week's material. So I think what I'd like to do here is share these things. So I'm trusting you can all see that. And here's our program, Pass with Honours, Pass with Honour, week number 3. And let's see. So April 15. So we started this program week on Wednesday with the idea of measuring people by their past and what to do about that. By the way, I think there's a really deep material here for this week. Amazing stuff, actually. So, interestingly, the power that comes up there, the power of accommodation. So, the waste thought, of course, is seeing someone through what they did before, what they've already done. We're hanging on to that past perception of that person and their behavior in particular. So the idea of Bubba's magic mantra is quite special, and we need that sort of guiding force. So Bubba's vision has fallen on each one of us. And because of that, because of Bubba's vision, we've become invaluable. So Bubba, of course, has that invaluable vision on you, on me. And all we need to do is live up to Bubba's vision of us. It's a very pure, very simple, very clean vision. And, the more we can clean up our own thinking, our own mind space, the more we naturally will just live up to what Bubba's asking of us. So, okay, when we're having our little chit chat with Bubba, ideas come up that we remember what people have done. We know their history. We know what their patterns are, their patterns in particular of behavior, what they say, what they do, typically. Um, so it's like that's the history. But when we bring that into today, and it's like we're seeing today through the lens of the past. And when we're doing that, it's like we're stuck in the past. We're fixed in the past, and in a way, we're holding that person in that past perception. So, okay, it's when we mix the past with the present that we create this long queue of waste thoughts. So to accommodate the power for the first day of this week, to accommodate means that there shouldn't be the slightest trace of any gross feelings, of any situations still remaining, even in our thoughts. Yeah. So it's like the situations, in a way, are being sustained by our thoughts. Our thoughts are keeping them there. Yeah. So we recognize the pattern. It says in the notes that sometimes the intellect becomes a prediction machine, a prediction machine. So it's churning out the predictions based on past, what we remember from the past. So using past data, very contemporary term there, using past data to anticipate future behavior. And we think that this feels efficient and feels safe to do, right? We think that in a way that it has some sort of credence or some sort of, credentials of truth behind it. Um, yeah. So it mentions here that the old sanskars hold on to history for protection because, and I think like this, that we think it's protection because we don't really know what else we would do. It's what we know, and so we keep that up. We hold on to that because there's nothing else to grab hold of. There's that feeling, or that feeling can be there at times. And if that's the case, then we're not yet strong enough in our gyan, in our connection with in yoga. All of that doesn't have the strength yet to take over. Or perhaps it does, or perhaps it's close, but we haven't yet taken the courage to make the jump. Yeah. So we need to let go of, forget, or disregard things that we knew or thought we knew from the past. Yeah. So that can feel a little unsafe, a little disconcerting. But I think in Brahman life, we're called on to make a lot of these sorts of judgment calls. We need to jump off the branch, and we need to do that many times. We need to learn to be very good at doing it. Yeah. So it mentions here that evidence confirms that the record has been, is noticed. It's been noted. We've noted stuff from the past, from other people. So only their history is seen and not them. Yeah. So by the way, this week 3, of course, is of course about waste thoughts in regards to others. Yeah. So we're holding on to that past. So the power of accommodation drill. Um, I am a soul. I withdraw from the body and become still. I see the wall. I bring a person to mind, someone whose past I carry. I have been holding their past in front of them, like a wall between us. I see it clearly now. This wall is not theirs. It is mine. I hear the one word, pass, 3 meanings. I pass. I do not react to their history. Secondly, I come close or remain close to Baba and not to that history or record of the other person. And whatever has happened, of course, is in fact the past. So I return the past to Baba. I return my intellect toward Baba in his light. The record loses its hold. I return to the past, to the past. I release what I have been carrying. I see the soul. No record, just this soul in front of me. When the past is truly past, I can finally see them. When the past is truly past, I can finally see them as they are. Okay, so that's a nice, lovely little experience there on the power of accommodation to do with waste thoughts about others. So we saw on day 2 of this week's program, silent blame, very subtle thing, but very destructive, I would say. So what power do we use? Okay, they've put here the power of the divine I. So holding someone responsible in the mind without saying a word, that's what happens. But that's the waste thought. It's a quiet accusation. Um, so it says here that it colors every interaction. So it's sitting there in the background. It's like a background layer that permeates everything, every interaction, every judgment I make, and so on, to do with that person. So they may not even know that I'm blaming them, but the blame does shape everything. So Baba's mantra there, I'm sorry, I just realized I should have moved us on. There it is. I'm going to share something with you. I may as well share what I'm talking about. So Baba's magic mantra, sweet, sweet child. Baba is seeing you, the soul, the diamond, sparkling in the center of each one's forehead. So he's seeing a lot of diamonds. You, me, and everyone else. So I'm noting here that when the soul, in this case, in the notes, has said to Baba what's going on. So even though it's not out loud, it's inside, but there's this holding someone else responsible primarily for how I feel, you know, and then that will, of course, manifest, you know, in terms of physical things and the way things turn out. It's possible to even blame someone else for my, um, you know, a sickness or just my state of health, you know, but it's very, very misguided. So it's a silent blame. So Baba's response, just as the I is divine, so too the specialities or virtues seen are also divine. Yeah. Just as the I is divine, so too the specialities or virtues seen are also divine. So as is the vision, so is the world. You hear that from time to time in the Sakar Mulis in particular. And it's a simple thing that I'm, yeah, it's like as is my mind, so will be what I'm seeing out there. And I will see that about the world rather than seeing the good aspects of the world. So if I'm seeing positively, I'm seeing through Srimat, through the eyes of spirituality, through the eyes of soul consciousness, and through the eyes of all of these powers. In particular here, it's the divine eye, right? Divine eye means I'm seeing the divine being in the other, the pure being, rather than the current state. So when I apply that, I will naturally see their pure qualities, their divine qualities. So I'm noting too that through the divine eye, it says, it is the subtle divine soul that will be seen. It'll be the speciality of each soul that will be seen. So, in summary, a weak eye can only see defects, but a divine eye can see divinity. So, of course, there's a pattern. The pattern, um, gosh, the accusation lives in the mind, shapes every interaction. Everything they do confirms it because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing what they do as confirming this. So it mentions that even their good actions look like some sort of manipulation or cover up, right? Because that's my perception. If this is my pattern, these are the waste thoughts that I have, okay, then this is what can happen. Very ugly affair, really. Um, so the old sanskaras want someone to be at fault. So they're looking for someone to blame. So this is in a way a convenient thing. um, when something goes wrong, they look for a target. So once the eye is weak, what it sees keeps confirming what the blame has already decided. So the judgment has already been made, and then I keep reconfirming that with everything that I see. And in fact, I'm seeing through this critical eye, I would say, not the divine eye. So the power of the divine eye is really important. And of course, there's the drill here. Goes through these things. I withdraw from my body, luminous point of light. I check my eye, the third eye. Baba gave it to me at my birth, my spiritual birth. Um, and I check where it's at, what it's become now. So then I begin to, when I've checked myself, I then begin to bring the person that I'm blaming to my mind. And I turn my intellect towards Baba. I see them as he sees them through the three aspects of time. I connect to Baba's vision. So I restore my eye. My third eye is spiritual binoculars, it mentions, which is a great idea. Through it, the subtle divine soul is visible. So that's what I see when I've restored my vision. I see the deity. I look again and I see the future deity. So, moving on to April 17. So, wishing someone would change. So, this is a very disempowered sort of a state. It's a waiting game, and I think that something's going to happen. Right. So the power they've mentioned is the power of love. So the waste thought, if only they would see. I'm waiting for them to see. If only they would see. Why won't they stop doing that? I'm asking this question, which is a sort of a dead end question, because I don't actually have an answer for it. I'm just I'm asking rather that question, and it's going into thin air. It doesn't have any consequence of a positive nature to it. It's just wishing, wishing, wishing. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing that we're looking at here. So Baba's magic mantra, sweet, sweet child. You have received a right to godly love, and where there is love, there's everything. So um, that's so nice, right? Where there's love, there's everything. Wishing is useless, just waste of energy. Instead, follow Baba's directions. Every thought and moment of the constantly loving souls is applied solely to remembering Baba and service. So again, it's like a distraction from that negativity. But I would have to say that it's not just a simple distraction because it's actually a return to the truth. Yeah. It's a return to the truth. So it's letting go of that misguided uh, mistruth or falsehood and returning to the truth. Hmm. So power of love. That love does what the wishing cannot do, right? Yeah. So when we say we have good wishes for another, it's not a yearning for someone to change or a yearning for someone to get better or something like that. We say, oh, I'm having good wishes. But those good wishes are pure good wishes. They're not related to this sort of thing, right? So pure good wishes are really quite detached in a way. They're not wanting for something to change, to happen, and so on. Yeah. So, okay. In the pattern section, it talks about monitoring another's behavior, waiting for a shift. And of course, that shift may never come. Um, but we're waiting for it. That waiting is very disempowered state. We're here to bring on change, not to just wait for change to happen around us or to us or to someone else. Um, yeah, so Baba mentions to transform yourself and the environment. Um, will change there as a result. So I might just skip on to the 18th because today's the 18th. And what I'm thinking is Ganesh, gee, maybe you'd like to have a bit of input into this. So, okay, I think you can all sort of see number 18 up there. I'm hoping everyone sort of has notes in front of them, but Ganesh, would you be ready to come on?
Yeah. Yep. I'm here. Okay, Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, nice to see your explanation on all those things. It's very nice. I'm very happy with that strategy. You know, this strategy of the design of this program, the Path with Honors. Baba gave that mantras, and I've been using that mantras, the guideline to use during the day in the morning. What I found was this like we are going through a battle. This battle is with the waste thoughts, and it's going to make the best. We are going to become the best.
Yeah.
And that's the mantra which we keep reminding for ourselves that Baba wants to see this way. I'm just taking an example like the power of love yesterday. You know, how we expect love. We want to give love, but we also expect love. But the love flows. And I need to radiate that. So the effort is, the design is like that pattern knows what's going on, but I just need to take it. So I've been trying this for the past 3 weeks, in the morning. Amrit Vela with a group, wherever the center I am, I've gone to 2-3 places. Start off in the morning, Amrit Vela with the drill, which is suggested. So it is very useful to create that attention and also to bring Baba inside to help us in this process of transformation. And this is very useful actually in bringing Baba in our transformation. So we use Baba's knowledge, yes. There is like guidance, like instructions. We remind ourselves, but to involve Baba with us with feelings. Yeah. I feel it is very important to start off in the morning. So the suggestion of how to use this program as the mantra is I take it like a medicine.
Yeah.
The sickness is the waste thoughts, but the medicine has to work. Like as you mentioned just now, the drill, how it slowly, brings out the dirt, the illness, and then it gets flushed. So rather than the blame on others, it is the right. Neither do I need to want to blame myself, because blame is sorrow. Neither is giving sorrow or taking sorrow. It is not the right thing, because that itself is a waste. Thinking that I'm coming out of waste and thinking about waste. So it's like it's like getting trapped. So this is a very good exercise. I'm looking at this aspect of how the silent blame is something new to me. It's a very deep thing, as you mentioned. The blame game is there, so I can come out of it. So I just was touched by that Murli last week. Where we had a special Murli by the Dadis, the whole collection Murlis on wait and see. Be detached observer and be loveful. So I think for the past 3 weeks, I've been seeing that the jewels of knowledge which we have acquired on the weekly basis with all these tools is slowly shaping us. Shaping us to see the future which Baba wants to see. That's the kind of vision Baba has. But if I start to see the past of a person, and I was just looking at the example of a statue being processed, being chipped. Now, the idol has become from stone to a partial idol. So if I see the partial idol, then I'm looking at the past of that person who has not changed. But that one would have changed during this process of changing themselves. So rather than seeing their past, let me see their present, that they have transformed. It is also part of the good wish which I have for the soul, just like how Baba wants to see. Baba is seeing us, you'll be like me, you'll be like me. I keep reminding myself. It's like Baba telling me, you'll be like me, you'll be like me. Just wait and see. but do not
Yeah.
just stick to your past and get stuck there. And that's how I'm looking at it. So how do you do it, Peter Bhai? Maybe you can share a little bit of yours.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So like personal efforts.
Hmm.
All right. They're always moving on from day to day, of course. And to be honest, like today, I've really brought this theme of realization in because it's come up in the notes here. And I particularly love the idea of realization. And I think there's an incredible power behind it because, I mean, realization is about truth. It's about seeing the truth, knowing the truth, understanding it to the point where we're living it. So the faith that we have in it is guided by our practical experience. Yeah. So I had this thing at the moment where it's like, okay, Baba says, consider yourself a soul, to be a soul. And it's a practical direction, consider yourself to be a soul. He's asking us to consider that to be the case and go by that. And I'm really thinking, okay, after all these years, there's been so much experience of soul consciousness, and there have been magic moments which have really punctuated my whole Brahman experience, my life. And those magic moments, it's very easy, in fact, to recall those things. So I think one of the statements I'm just using on myself at the moment is remember the soul conscious experience because I've had it before. And in a flash, I can just bring it back. It's just recall, right? Recall. Recall that memory of an experience you had in the past. And before you know it, you're having it again. It's a simple thing. And it sort of bypasses any sense of struggle or how to focus on this, how to get it, and so on. And it's a really good way to just start. It's a great way to just kick into a nice experience, a nice meditation experience. So I'm going to marry up the word or the concept of realization there. And I'm liking the idea of just realizing by seeing what's going on. So in these notes, like today, it's talking about realize where my own sanskaras are at. I know my own weaknesses. I know what they are. I know my own strengths. I know what they are. And I see the situation that I'm in and I understand, I know that it's related to my past, right? But I want this current situation to point my ship in the right direction into the future. So I'm seeing that. I'm seeing the situation and think, well, there's a point to this situation. Even if it doesn't feel so nice, there's still a point to it. And lastly, but not leastly, I'm seeing others, the nature of the others' sanskaras too. Not in a judgmental way, but Baba says to understand, the desires and the feelings in the mind of others, what their tendencies are, and so on. And to understand that they're all there because of the past. They're all there because of their past experience and where that's led them to. And so, I'm not here to demand their change. I'm here to change the way that I see them and understand them more accurately. And I think when I have that tolerance, that patience, and the power of realization, then it becomes a lot easier, a lot easier. And I can just safely have my connection with Baba and just move forward on that basis. Mm. Was that something like what you were thinking to ask me? Oh, Ganesh, you're muted actually.
Okay. When I'm looking at these points on the jewels, actually, it's like something to be used. If I don't use it, so then it becomes disused. So
Yeah,
these are the terms, we used before, but I'm looking at how we have richness from the Murli. So my attention to Murli has become a little more sharper after these 3 weeks of looking at the details of all this. How the extract is taken. This is how Brahma Baba and Mama would have done the process of transformation with realization. Before the transformation, there has to be realization. So it's like being tested, like today's point on Baba being the comforter. So during test, we need comfort because when we are tested, it's like we don't have anyone by our side, but we need to have a companion. We need to have a comforter of the heart because the heart has to go through the test. And it is good to be tested because then we know that we have that strength, that we are, it's like passing the endurance test. Whether you can go on. No? So it's part of progress. And in Brahmin life, progress is very connected with being tested. So I love test because you can't fail any test. Even if you fail, there is a pass inside there because I get experience. So failing is an experience to look for passing the next step. So experiential failure is not a failure. It's an upgrade to become more, increase our endurance. So if I
yeah,
use the comforter of my heart, Baba being very comforting. So I also look at the dialogue, which the program, the soul speaking to Shiv Baba and Shiv Baba speaking to the soul. It's very comforting. So comforter of hearts have an interaction. And
mm,
this way, it's like how Baba says, you should talk to yourself, talk to Baba. But how to do that? And this is just every day we are given the sample. Like today, for example, it says the soul speaking, something unfair happens. I cannot let it go. My mind replaces it. So I'm trapped. So when Baba says the two aspects of realization, one is become a test, and the other one is that you realize it, and then the desires, the feelings, the weaknesses, you become dependent on that. So then you have to come out of it. So then Baba says you realize your original state. So that's how it brings about a change within me. Baba is helping
mm,
me with these feelings because words is one thing, but words with feelings has a lot of strength. And this is
mm.
what bhavna actually means. We just say bhavna, just feelings, but then there are words there. So I'm looking at that, how Mama and Baba would have done that. So
Yeah.
this is also a very good chance for me for helping to bring up a lot of strength. So what do you think, Vitabai? How do you see this?
Yeah, I really like that idea actually of how important tests are.
Mm,
I mean, we don't really like tests. I never liked tests when I was at school. That was something I just dreaded. But really, in Brahmin life, I think it's completely necessary, and they're always they're practical tests, right? They're pracs, and I love that idea because things happen. They're not always comfortable.
mm,
We have to maintain a positive vision, a positive attitude, and we have to move forward on the basis of the directions that Baba's given us. And that's how we pass the situation. It's just really important to, yeah, to learn how to ride the waves, not to let them crash me down, you know? Yeah. We need to learn how to sail the ship, if you like. It's quite an art, so I'm told. I've never been a sailor in this life, but that art of being able to stay afloat, that art of being able to let the current and the wind push you along, because very often that's what happens in life, right? It comes to us. We can't determine what the currents are going to do. We can't determine what the wind is going to do. And I think our Brahman life is very similar. You know, there's a good metaphor there. Hmm. So I love that.
Yeah, it's good. Look, and you remember, when you are tested in the school, just like school examination, when you are tested, it's like
Mm.
you remember the teacher, you remember what he has taught, you remember
Yeah.
the lessons he's given, the
Mm.
kind of mistakes we have done. So it helps to bring about success.
Yeah.
So what I feel is, in all our tests, we remind of ourselves of the past experience with Baba in Madhuban, or whatever, our seniors have given us guidance. Even BKs also have given some ideas. So everybody's a teacher. Baba is a teacher, drama is a teacher. So I feel the test is like, it's like helping us to become very comforting to
Yeah.
progress. So I
Yeah.
have taken it that way. That's a kind of realization. I just
That's
welcome everything.
yeah. Look, that's a great attitude to have, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how valuable are tests? Yeah. They're really valuable for our achievement levels. Yeah. Invaluable for us to move on with. Hmm. Gosh. Yeah, and you mentioned before, actually, Ganeshji, you mentioned about the idea of the mantra in a way, and I think yeah, I remember Mohini Didi saying a little while back, maybe she said this quite a bit, I'm not sure, but I do remember her saying um, how it doesn't really matter what aspect you focus on when you sit down to have yoga, but focus on something, and you can be the lighthouse, right? Or you can be a world benefactor, or you can just be, an angel of God. So you can think these things, but rather than flitting around, not and thinking in between time, oh, I'm not quite sure which one, what to do, is this right, etc., etc. Is this more powerful? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she was saying, just focus somewhere, and just keep feeding that notion to yourself gently. So I think the same thing happens here too, even in regards to dealing with, especially in regards to dealing with waste thoughts about others, or any waste thoughts for that matter. So instead of having waste thoughts, occupy the mind with beautiful things, right? And beautiful things that we know to be truths, not just fancy sounding things, but they're truths, right? These are the truth about the self. Yeah.
So what do you think, Peter, by this exercise? Now, ultimately, we have to become pure. So Baba keep telling pure, seed stage. So
Totally.
this process actually helps the mind and intellect to come together to have that yoga of the intellect,
Yeah.
to enhance their powers. We talk about all this power of realization, power of love, many powers. So it is Baba's powers which is bringing about change within me. So ultimately, this will help me to become free from waste thoughts. As you mentioned, no? Moini Didi was telling about that. In Daddy Gurja's classes mostly on waste thoughts. She keep reminding, I remind myself how she has mentioned many classes. Waste thought,
Yeah.
going to create a lot of difficulties, but it's going to make you the best if you know how to manage it, handle it, finish it, and therefore your mind and intellect becomes very close, and ultimately you enhance
Yeah.
that energy. It flows to others. So during Drishti, this was past few weeks, Murli was Baba saying, sweet Drishti, the Avyat signals. So the sweetness comes from Baba, and
Yeah.
this actually helps to really let the energy flow, with Baba's energy flow. So
Yeah.
I become very, serviceable with my eyes and face. Naturally, it becomes a very powerful tool.
Yeah. So Ganesh ji,
Yeah.
would you mind? It's 10 to 8 now, or 10 to whatever it is there, 10 to 6. Would you mind giving us a meditation commentary? Your internet seems to be handling all this so far.
So far
If
good.
you-
So far good. Yeah.
Yeah. If you drop out, I can take over, I guess. But in the meantime, it'd be lovely actually if you could just give a bit of a gentle commentary on theme, on topic.
Okay.
And if you keep an eye on the clock,
Yeah.
then I'll pop back just a couple of minutes before the hour or something,
Right.
and say goodbye, and we can prepare ourselves for the next couple of days.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'll start off now. Om Shanti. As I sit here, I begin to feel that I, the soul, seated on the center of my forehead, the heart throne of the self. I begin to feel as Baba feels for me. I am a pure soul. Just like the diamond on the center of the forehead, the jewel. I am Baba's jewel. As the jewel sparkles with the natural qualities of all virtues. Baba's virtues is my virtue. I have attained this. And this attainment makes me feel content. And I become the jewel of contentment. As I sit here and see the world, my vision falls on the world, where every soul in this world is the child of the Supreme. I am the diamond, and I see the diamond in everyone. Let me feel these feelings Baba has for me and for the world. I become Baba's helpers. I, the diamond, the jewel of contentment, with Baba, the comfort of hearts, comfort everyone. It creates a powerful atmosphere. It gives a feeling that we are one family. The world is calling out for this pure love. As Baba says many times, can't you hear the cries of the souls who are suffering, who are calling out? Just bestow these feelings for them. Be seated on the center of the forehead as you're being the master bestowers. Like a lighthouse, you show the path. You give them the pull that everybody will be salvaged. We become the Salvation Army, the one who liberates many from the sufferings and peacelessness. And therefore, Baba and me together, we become combined. As I spread these feelings of this combined form, I give hope to the hopeless. We bring hope to the whole world. As I sit here and have these feelings together with Baba, it's very comforting. The comfort of hearts makes me feel so good. And therefore I am blessed. I have these feelings of blessings. My transformation will bring world transformation. This love, this realization will definitely bring about the transformation. Let me spread these vibrations to the whole world. I, the diamond, the jewel of contentment, spreading rays and waves to the whole world. And slowly I come back to this corporeal world. Om Shanti.
Great. Om Shanti. Really enjoyed that. That was so nice. So really just this brings us to the close of our program for tonight. So we have a couple of wonderful days lined up. The power to break tomorrow, the power to break, learning how to stop all these waste and unnecessary thoughts. And then the power to mold, very nice. Being able to just blend in, be able to change myself, adapt. And then finally, the power of contentment, which is absolutely necessary and very beautiful again. So, Ganesh, bye. I've really enjoyed that. Thank you for your conversation. And despite the adverse weather conditions in Sri Lanka, Kandy, Sri Lanka, you managed. And thanks for that commentary.
So thank you to the nature also, to everybody's cooperation, and Baba and everyone, and Peter too, and everybody else in Balan.
Okay. Yeah. Good night, good evening, good afternoon. See you next time. Om Shanti.
Why do we turn to you when we have Why do we call your name when in the end no one remains? Who is always there in times of need when we are all alone? Who takes us back home in the end? Fills the world with love and gives us back all that we've lost, our eternal friend. Why do we reach for you when there's nothing left that we can do? Why do we think of you when the world is changing from old to new? Changing, changing, changing. Who's left to help us out? We had messed up everything, and who will love us anyway? Our eternal friend, the only one left in the end, our eternal friend, the one who is always our eternal friend, the one who is always our friend, our friend. Takes the world in his sweet hand.
Om Shanti.
Thank you all. Thanks to the
Thank
tech
you.
people.
Om Shanti.